Hi, everybody. My name is Carlos Herrera here with RiverSource. I am happy to be here broadcasting live from the Community Yoga Center here in Santa Fe, where we are here with our Watershed Academy students that took part in an internship with us for the summer of 2020. It has been a very interesting opportunity working in these times within our communities, but we've also had a great opportunity in order to work with some amazing students to help them get an understanding of potential things that they can do in the future to create healthy watersheds, to have a positive impact within our own communities. So rather than having me talk here all day, I'd like to introduce Lauren, that is going to tell you about the purpose of our internship this summer. Thank you guys for being here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 17 and I go to Santa Fe High School. And yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about the purpose. So though everyone derives their own purpose from their own experiences, I think that an overarching goal of this internship was to tighten the connections between us and nature. Many of us already felt a connection to the earth, whether it was in a spiritual sense or out of curiosity. All of us like to be outside and saw the internship as a great way to make money and spend time outdoors. However, the internship also taught us that it's not enough to just enjoy nature. We're all growing up in the midst of a major environmental crisis, and there's a lot of pressure on us to take action before it's too late. So when I say that the purpose of this internship was to tighten the connection between us and nature, I mean that the internship took the connection that we already had and sort of ran with it. It turned the connection into an understanding and then made sure that we knew how to work with that understanding. The internship turned us into missionaries ready to spread the knowledge about the environment to a population that so desperately needs it. And yeah, basically it was designed to make a change in the way that we think about and interact with our surroundings. And I would say that it was effective in doing so. So I'll kind of segue into my own personal introduction and reflections. Over the course of the internship, I've become even more aware that nature is not just hiking trails and sunsets and kayaking. It's the water running in the gutters when it rains. It's the weeds growing through the cracks in the pavement and the shrubs growing in the arroyo behind your house. It's not something that you need to plan a day trip to experience. It's a presence that's nearly impossible to avoid, and because it's so ubiquitous, it's something that everyone needs to be able to understand, not just biologists or archaeologists. Only when we understand something are we able to truly respect it and coexist with it. So much effort has been put into trying to fend off the forces of nature through urbanization, but so little attention is given to the importance of preserving the environment, especially by politicians. As a Santa Fe resident, I've grown up with the understanding that water is precious and should not be wasted, and through this internship, I've become aware of so many ways that every last drop of water could be used to its full potential. For example, creating storm gardens, which collect the runoff from roads and parking lots to create mini ecosystems while preventing flooding. And things like this are things that I need to know, even though I don't necessarily intend to go into a career concerning water or wildlife. As a teenager, so there's a lot of pressure to think about how I'm going to use my life to make a change for the better. And there are so many problems that need to be solved, and at times it can feel overwhelming, and that's why it's crucial to expose yourself to as many different walks of life as you can. This 2-week intensive look into the world of land and water management has provided me with valuable insight into the way Earth systems function and how I can do my part in assisting them. Yeah, so just things that are really simple but have the power to drastically change a landscape. And if everyone had knowledge like this, the world would be a different place. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. My name's Rich, and this is our first ever Watershed Academy. This is the first graduating class ever of something that might go on for 50 to 100 years every year. And this is the first group. So we'll continue.
Hi guys, I'm Colin George. I'm 16 and I study in Santa Fe High School. So I'm going to be talking to you about the sanitation process we used in throughout this Watershed Academy. We were given PPE equipment such as black nitrile gloves instead of rubber gloves because we didn't know who had allergies to rubber and the stuff used to make rubber gloves. And also we were given KN95 masks. The we have Carlos is an industrial hygienist, and so he wanted to provide every single student with the best they could provide, just so that they could bring down the exponential danger of contracting COVID throughout this internship or Watershed Academy, because they didn't want to stop in between and start a quarantine of 14 days, as they wanted to complete the whole class and also to teach us what to do with our water management. We were also checked for temperature every single morning. We were checked for high or even a low temperature, which any discrepancy was checked for, and we were also given a checklist. We were also asked a checklist if we were in contact with anyone who was tested positive or negative, or even if we were out in public, and if we felt weird, such as a high temperature or any of the symptoms for COVID, we had available face shields available and used them once for close working in benthic invertebrates, but which these face shields were available every single day for anyone who felt unsafe working close contact or even wanted the face shield. Every single tool we used were sanitized with 10% bleach. That is 9 parts of water and 1 part of bleach. And it was used even in between any tool exchange. Also, we were careful so as to not exchange tools around much more. So we kind of got every single person got a personal tool, and if there arose the chance of exchanging tools, we were sanitizing them every single time it was exchanged hands. Also, every single person in this Watershed Academy got a bottle of hand sanitizer, and the hand sanitizer was filled once it was almost done for, and so every single person was encouraged to sanitize their hands every time they came in contact with the surface or even was in close contact of another person. We were also provided with a 12-page protocol of how to take care of our self-hygiene during this Watershed Academy. I don't have a copy of that right now, so I'm not holding it up. And so it detailed on how to travel with us, travel with the instructors, or even one of our colleagues. And it also highlighted every single detail of hygiene, which was needed all throughout this Watershed Academy. And so we were properly trained and hygienic through this Watershed Academy. So now I'm just going to transition into my experience blog of this. So basically, this Watershed Academy was one really good experience for me to like give back to the environment for all it has provided me with, such as a life or even just the air I breathe. So this was me getting to know how to take care of my environment around me, even if nobody else cared about it. As in, wherever I go, this is an experience I can keep with me. Some of the highlights I got from this was spotting a bear at El Rito. Also, learning about how much water can be harvested from just a building or even just a parking lot, as in like 2,000 gallons in a half-inch rain is not a small amount, which can be supplied into the groundwater, as we are already almost done with the groundwater and we are heading for a water crisis all over the world. So this kind of helped me to learn on how to like live a healthy and an environmental friendly life and also help other people. in my future, I could use this experience to teach other students all around the world, wherever I go, to like teach them this Watershed Academy, a wonderful experience and a fun experience for me. Also, I got to meet some. I got to make some very wonderful friendships, and so it was a refreshing experience during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
That works. Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Adam, and I'm 17 years old, and I go to Santa Fe High along with some other people here. So when I first showed up in orientation day, I was pretty nervous, but I was also excited. But as time went on and we started to learn more about each other, I became a little bit more happy and at ease with the situation. Learning more about the intricacy of river management, I was amazed at how little that I knew. I realized the beauty of learning about something that you hadn't thought to learn about. In our daily lives, we become what we only know, and this new routine, while it was hot and dry, it was a great chance for a change and a great experience. I've always been fascinated by nature. However, the time that I spent with it is pretty minimal. I find it interesting how little the common person really knows about environmental conservation. One of the first days on the internship, Rich told the group about something very simple yet really important. Leave the environment around you better than how you found it. After he said this, I realized how much of a difference could be made if everyone applied this rule to their own daily lives. Instead of leaving a plastic bottle on the floor, you pick one up. I have tried to practice this in my own life. Not only do I feel that this has made a positive impact on the natural environment, furthermore, I feel that it has made me a happier person overall to apply this anywhere. For so long, I have lived without being completely in touch with nature. Now, I feel that I need to nurture the plants around me, save water, and practice and participate in more community projects. The second week of our internship, we knew much more about the work that we were doing, and things went by a lot faster. The river work that is done is so needed that it baffles me how no one knows about it. I can't help but feel that if more people were exposed to the importance of the work that water conservationists actually do, it would be more heavily supported. Going to places like Bunny Ranch and Frenchie's Field, it makes me want to continue making an impact that'll last for a very long time. So I had an amazing experience at the Watershed Academy, and I hope that future students have the same experience that I had. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, all right. Hi, I'm Gabriel. I'm 15 and I go to ATC. So some of the things I learned were to like just care for nature, and it's surprising how many people throw away trash. At the rivers I've been to, I've seen hundreds of bottles on the ground, and it's just surprising. And the stuff that I took away from this is like grit. You need grit to work in a field like this. You gotta have the drive to basically just restore nature. And with the times we're going through now, it's really needed. And let's see. I also learned how to identify the animals that were in the area and basically see how clean and how healthy the water was. And by the past trips that I've had here, or when we went down to Pecos, the water wasn't as clean because of pollution. And I'm sure if we work hard enough, we could create a way to basically restore that. And But overall, this is a really great academy, and I love it. And I recommend that people come here and do stuff like this more often. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte. I'm 17 and I go to Capital. In this internship, I learned so much about where I live and more about me than really anything. Along with our global pandemic, I also learned that there's a severe drought in New Mexico. The main goal of the internship was to teach us how to be positive effects into the environment. And I didn't realize how negative I was in the environment. So I know that I could be major positives now. And yeah, so the main thing that I took away was that we could be positive changes into our environment instead of negatives. So like what Gabriel said when he said, if you see a bottle, pick it up. And I also made some really great friendships. And yeah, I think those are. Hi, I'm Shea. I'm 17 and I go to Santa Fe High as well. And the biggest thing that interested me about the River Source internship was definitely how it helped me learn about my interests more. I've always been interested in the environment and animals and plants and water, definitely water. So when I heard that this internship was an opportunity for me, I got really excited because my career choice is in this line of work. And I think it's a very great opportunity that Rich and Carlos and David have presented us with and presented kids with to explore career paths that they wouldn't be able to otherwise, which I thought was an extremely amazing opportunity. So the internship definitely taught me a lot about myself. It helped me narrow down what I wanted to do in the future. My favorite part of the internship was definitely benthic microinvertebrate because I have a passion with insects, animals, and living organisms, and also water. Oh, I went so fast there. So, I liked a lot of the opportunities that I've mentioned before, as well as the ones that are a little more hidden, such as connecting with people that I otherwise would not have met or talked to. Spreading out my branches so that I have connections with new people, giving me more opportunities, which is always a good thing. Having more stuff on my resume, and learning that hard work makes me happy. The exercise and hard work we did with cleaning and chopping down trees and filling in waterways released a lot of serotonin that I otherwise would have spent relaxing at home and being sad. But I got this opportunity and I really thank everyone here for giving it to me. Okay, so Adam and I are back and we're going to talk about the management plan that we formed for a plot of land called Bunny Ranch. So Bunny Ranch is in the northeastern quadrant of Santa Fe, and it is an expanse of land that used to be used as a dump because it was kind of on the outskirts of town. So now the land is really dry, it's eroding a lot, and there's a lot of pollution.
Yeah, so what we kind of have sort of like for the future is somewhat changing because there are plans for the land in terms of construction. However, the things that we can do right now, we're specifically focusing on a certain valley inside. There are multiple channels that are from the slope inside of Bunny Ranch, and that can be created because of stormwater, and and when it runs down slopes fast, it creates these channels. And basically, we want to repurpose the wood that is already there from the junipers, and sort of keep the sediment in the water within the area so that it can create more plant life and hopefully build a better ecosystem.
Yeah, so this is called lop and scatter. So you can cut dead branches or extra branches off of trees, and if you put them in the channels, it slows the flow of the water, so more sediment collects, which kind of brings up the elevation of the land and fills in the channels. And then it also allows the water to sink back into the land, and it lets plants and everything grow. And so you can make sort of dams out of rocks or branches. There's different shapes and techniques you can do that we learned about. And there's this guy that we met named Toner who kind of goes up to that area of land in his free time and does these things. And so that's something that we would like to continue as well as like build upon.
Yeah, and one thing that we especially noticed as we were creating our management plan was the garbage and the amount of dumping that was being done inside the area. So with our management plan and along with building up the ecosystem in the area, we plan to repurpose some of the garbage to build those dams, such as the lop and scatter that she had mentioned, but also just get it out of there so that there's more area for plants to grow and hopefully create more plant diversity.
Mm-hmm. And then we can kind of anticipate that with the construction on the land, there's going to be more pollution. So when the construction goes on, we think that there should be environmentalists who are in close contact with the construction teams to kind of like prevent any future pollution or any harmful building sites that cause, more degradation to the land.
Yes, and not only will this be really good for the land to have that sort of initial touch to it, like with environmentalists, but also I think that for the construction, having a nicer area where there is more plant life and it looks a little bit more beautiful is beneficial for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And you're less likely to dump at a place that has people living on it and walking around on it. It's just like a desolate area.
Yeah, so that's pretty much our management plan. That's Bunny Ranch. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
Ideas, I like your idea a lot. Very good.
Hi, so we created our management plan for Frenchie's Field, and specifically the De Las Cruces Arroyo and Watershed. So the goal here, what we did when we were working with RiverSource was take data on the depth and bed of the stream to see what stream flow looks like when there is actually water. And our main problem with the arroyo is when there is big rains, it is flooding the neighborhood that is close by. And it was actually never intended to have a park or a neighborhood nearby, but of course we still have neighborhoods there, and it is a problem that does need to be addressed. That was our main problem with our management plan. Of course, there are smaller problems such as the homelessness, erosion, speed of the water. We are losing a little bit of water because of the speed of it. So ways that we want to fix this problem are things such as getting rid of a lot of the invasive elms and to minimize shelter for homelessness, to make the park and the neighborhood a little safer, as well as widen the floodplain, deepen the
channel so that it does not flood over the sides and flood into our streets in our neighborhood, of course.
And then that was basically okay. Things that we did at Frenchie's this week was we did take the measurements. We knocked out a lot of elms. We just kind of went in there and knocked them out just to thin out the area. They also, part of our group also knocked down a tree that was already unstable and could have harmed someone. A woman actually came by and was like, "Could you knock down that tree, possibly?" and then we measured the depth of the watershed, like she said, and that was it.
We as well, the data that we did take from the channel, we put into a spreadsheet and to tell us what the bottom of the stream looked like. And from those findings, we find that in some places it was too steep, in some places it didn't cool enough. The channel of the bed was just not the best for what we want it to be. And to remove dirt from some places, put it in others, and make the channel just a little healthier is another thing that would improve that neighborhood, that park, and make everything prettier.
And that's it.
Oh, I got a question.
Yes.
Yeah. What was the name of the instrument that we were using? What was it shooting?
The laser level?
And what is the general term of art used for those kinds of measurements? And I'll give you a clue. Geomorphing. Go ahead, you did it.
Geomorphing?
Geomorphology.
Geomorphology.
That's floodplain geomorphology. That's what you're studying. Okay, thank you. Well done.
Hi guys, this is Colin and Gabriel here. So we are going to present you our water management plan for Herrera property, as in Carlos's family property. This property was bought by Arnold Herrera and Elisa Lucero in the 1980s, and it amounts up to 5 acres. The property is vastly spread with juniper trees, and also we spotted some pines and baby pines. So we also had the pinon. Yeah, pinon trees also were spotted. Arnold Herrera had done some previous management work such as lop and scatter, but they were effective to a grade that vegetation was found around those channels, but not effective to keep the whole land hydrated. And so when we reached the property, we could see the land dried up into like sandstones, like soft sandstones. So when it looked so dry that when we stepped on it, it was just like really dry sand. And so we continued with Arnold's work, such as we cut down the dry branches of the junipers for a quarter of the land and scattered them along the channel so as to like induce sheet flow of water, so we could kind of send the water to the sides. Also, I guess I can transition to Gabriel so that he can talk about the goals of the plan.
Okay, so the goals of the plan were to basically increase the abundance of vegetation in that area because it was very dry and the dirt was cracking. And so basically we just wanted to spread the water out so that it would like basically just water all the potential vegetation that should be there in about 5 years time. And that's basically like the long-term goal of the water management plan that we had, was just to basically spread out the water.
Okay, so work done by river source. As I said, we continued with Arnold's plan of drop and scattering. Also, we kind of made swales around and in between of big channels so as to stop their flow and also slow down the water flowing through them. As Carlos had said us that once it rains really heavily over there, and so when the water flows, it was highly like the water's velocity was high, so as to start erosion in a high grade. And so we wanted to stop that. And also we found like just closer to Carlos's neighbors, we also found like infrastructure such as roads that was really close to the channel which crossed from Carlos's property from the Herrera property into the neighbors. So we wanted to kind of like guard it from like eroding off the road. So we kind of made swales. Also, there was being a small house being made. So we kind of made a boundary for the water of not touching it. And also we found like wood lying around. So we kind of rearrange them or use them for the swales and stuff.
What the steps to be done? All right. So the steps to be done in this area was to basically like clear out the garbage on non-biodegradable stuff.
The garbage, as we mean, is that Carlos had an open dumpster near there, and as he describes, we found he says vultures were scattering the garbage from the garbage bins. So we kind of want him to like get a bag and grab all of those, just so that it doesn't. The garbage laying around would be really harmful to the soil, as it may get heated up, as it contains plastic or even wrappers. They may get heated up, or even in the rain, the paint used on the wrappers are really harmful for the plants, and also it can kind of intoxicate the soil around it.
And then after that, we basically we decided to trim the trees, like the dead branches on the trees, to stop potential fires that could happen because it's extremely dry over there. And so basically, we just wanted to clip the bottom part of the tree so it doesn't spread up or spread to other trees. So we just basically don't want it to create a big fire in that area. And then the excess wood found on the property can be chipped by a wood chipper so that it would be able to be used for filling in the eroded areas of his land. And we decided that we could probably plant more trees in that property and basically just compost it as well. And put light irrigation in that area until roots are established. And it will also hold the water in the soil, and it will like firmly increase the vegetation in that area.
Yeah, we wanted the trees there just so that when trees are set up, we found that the mounds under the trees in the property were really hydrated, and so we wanted him to like plant more trees and also just irrigate it lightly just so that the trees survive. And once they have established a really good root system, he can stop that and just provide them with once in a while manure just so that the fertility of the soil increases. And once that happens, he can also stop that, because then the trees would be self-sustaining from the needles and the dried leaves falling on the ground, which would act as organic manure for the plants itself. Thank you.
And then, could I say one more thing? Yeah. So we basically, I forgot to say this, and what we did is we fixed the culvert in that area so that water can flow from neighbor to neighbor. And people kept running it over, so we installed a fence post with flagging on it so that no cars would hit it in the winter time. And so that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm back again.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, okay. So, like I said in my blog, my biggest interest was the benthic microinvertebrates. So basically, with these, what we did was we took a sample of the small bugs that are in the water to tell us how healthy the stream is. With plastic, the way it works is it's on a scale of 0 to 3, 3 being excellent, 0 being very poor. And depending on what bugs you find and how sensitive they are to pollution, you can find how clean the water is. So we went out, we found that the water that has a lot of insect bugs that. However, in El Rito, we found that it was just good, which is not bad, but it's not amazing. It could be better. So the way we do it is we go into the water with these nets, these big ones. We take the nets, we put them in the water, we take around the dirt to find the bugs, and then put them in sampling trays like this. Like this, with water, and take tweezers to sort the bugs from the filled tins into a clean tin so that we can count them and see what we have. So what I don't have anything from Pecos. However, from El Rito, we decided to put the bugs that we found in alcohol so that we could count them specifically. So what we have here are everything we found. We got a night bug. He's a big dude. I don't know if you want to bring the camera closer.
Why don't you just bring it closer to the camera?
I'm across the table. So that's a snipe bug. And then in here we have a midge and a black fly. They are both. The midge is very tolerant. The snipe fly was in somewhat sensitive, so the middle group. And then the black fly is also in the most tolerant group. So these are both very tolerant, so they're very small.
Get it to focus. Very small. We'll maybe show them in a little bit at a closer range.
And then in this one, we got a, what was it called? Yeah, one of the specific snails. Point is, we got a snail, and we also have a one of the
Hemiptera.
which creeping bug. Those are in there. And then in this one, we have 3. We have 2 caddisflies, which are in the most sensitive, as well as a mayfly, also in the most sensitive. These were our sensitive bugs. We did not find a whole ton of these in El Rito, which is the reason why it's been good.
Why don't you show us the sheet there so that people can see what some of the bugs look like?
Smart. We don't have them all on this sheet, however.
Flip it around. The mayflies are number 3 here. Number 3.
Here. We got
Hemiptera is down here. Flip it over. The snipe fly, number 14, is right there. That's the black fly.
Black fly.
And the chironomid. So number 14, 19, and 17 are what we found.
All right.
Okay.
And that was the stream for El Rito.
That's great. Good job, Shea.
Yay! Excellent. Well done.
Okay, now I'm going to be talking about the water quality and the chemistry of water quality. This is a TDS tester. It is the total dissolved solid, which can test the salt limit in the water. This is a pH tester. You put it in the water and it tells you if the water is basic or acidic. This one is a colorimeter. So this one's turbidity, right?
That one's nitrate and phosphate.
Nitrate. systems nitrate and phosphate, it shows how many chemicals are in the water and the limit of the chemicals in the water. And then this is a thermometer. The water temp has to be low for trout and water fish. And what we found was ours was 20 to 21 Celsius, meaning it was a small problem. And then
what location was this?
this one is and then this one is actually my favorite. It shows how much solids or sediment is in the river stream flow. And we also tested dissolved oxygen. Okay. We also tested dissolved oxygen in one of our other kits. And I think that was it.
Okay.
So in Pecos, the temperature was a small problem. The TDS was not a problem. The turbidity was not a problem. The pH was also not a problem. And the nitrate shows how much the in the stream, and that was also not a problem. And then the oxygen was not a problem. Oh no, it was too much. So it could be a problem or it could not be a problem, depending on the time. And then the phosphorus was also not.
Well, hello everybody. So I'm back again, and I'm going to be talking about stormwater basins, which is personally one of the most interesting things that I've learned about in this internship. I would say the most interesting, actually. So stormwater is an extremely overlooked resource that can be used efficiently inside of a city setting. So what can it be used for exactly? Well, you could slide, thank you. So a city contains roads, houses, parking lots, and so much more that don't allow any water to go into the soil. So when this happens, massive amounts of water is collected in areas where multiple sloping hills go into. So here we have the drains, and the drains on the sides of the roads are meant to collect this stormwater and dump it into like a nearby river. However, so by doing this is very inefficient and sometimes is dangerous to the health of the water. So to combat this is the stormwater basin. Now, this system allows the water from the impervious surface to run off into a habitat where the water can seep into the soil and provide nourishment for a flourishing plant life. Now, by doing this, people can save money, time, and water compared to a normal irrigation system. Now, this works by calculating the amount of water runoff that 1 inch, and this can vary, that a 1 inch storm would bring. So once you have that amount of water that a certain area would collect or bring, this area could be a parking lot or anything that's a big surface, you are then able to design the basin and that are based on these projections. So a basin usually consists of an exit and an entrance. However, water always tries and finds an equilibrium, meaning that once the water reaches a level of the entrance, it will no longer go into the, it'll no longer go any higher than the entrance is. So once you have designed the basin and implemented this plan, not only is the natural environment going to prosper from this, but humans and animals will too. So this basin can provide food and water for animals such as birds, insects, and other rodents, possibly even bigger animals, depending on where the basin is located. But people are also able to use this to grow food for themselves and the community. Now, while all this sounds really great for the environment, how does this help business? So research studies suggest that a person is more likely to enter and buy something from business if the exterior shows an aesthetically pleasing natural environment. Thus, stormwater basins are reliable, efficient, and most of all, give the community a beautiful touch of nature. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for being here. Letting us have your kids.
Yeah, they are excellent. Thank
And
you,
then
guys.
David and
Hey,
I-
students, take a bow. Take a
Think
bow,
about-
students.
Now it's time for you guys to come sit in here. We're going to stand here and talk a little bit. Come on,
Okay.
you can sit over there. So now we get to offer some reflections, a roast. Okay. Okay, wait, where's our thing? We have to make sure we're 6 feet. Okay, hop out here and just stand here. Listen to us. We're going to do some reflections for you guys to hear. Okay?
6 feet apart. There you go.
All right. Okay.
David, you can be in
There we
the
are.
middle.
6.
Am I
Okay,
in
wait,
there?
you're not in. You need to come this way.
Right there. There we go.
Okay, so we are currently social distance. We're following the governor's current rules and regulations right now. And as staff, we want to just take up, Carlos, you're barely in if you can. We just want to offer some quick reflections on what we learned in this 2-week internship, and it being the first run for us ever doing this really here in Santa Fe. So, and you can also reflect on some of the character of our students if you want to, Carlos, or just the character of the experience. Go ahead, Carlos.
Okay, we really had a great time working with the students here. All of them were great students in order to work with. They were very motivated. They were very excited. And only a few times did they fall asleep when I was talking during my presentations. So, but they were a great group of students to work with. It leaves me excited that I know that we have students in the next generation that are going to be positive stewards of our environment. So I really enjoyed having them as a part of our first ever Watershed Academy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, this was a phenomenal group of students. Super grateful to be a part of this program and to see that we can do this type of work in the COVID era and do it safely. And it gives me hope that there are ways that we can move forward in this world despite environmental challenges and crises for many species and many organisms on this planet, that there are people growing up in this time who are connecting to and have the knowledge, are learning the knowledge around how to have a positive impact on this earth. So yeah, thank you.
So we want to thank all you guys, really. I really do, honestly. Like an honor to do this work. And we do it because, you know, what happens is once you start getting the awareness of how much degradation is on the landscape, it can get depressing. And Carlos and David and I choose not to get depressed, though. And that's the thing, is we choose to actually help nurture young people so they can get into the business, so they can actually feel that agency of positivity, of showing up for life and doing something good. Okay? And I think all of these young people demonstrated that. So I'm very satisfied and actually willing to say publicly that each one of you, you're going to get ongoing resources. Like I think I mentioned before, we are going to be there for you. You need help getting applications done. You need a job reference. You need to get into a college. You need a reference for a summer paid internship at a university at a cool, like a world-class ecological zone, like in Ecuador or something. We can do that for you, and we will. Okay? And that's as a gift for what you gave to us, which is not just, you know, the satisfaction of knowing that people have learned, but it helps our shoulders be more at ease. And that's ultimately what we want for society, right? So, thank you.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Woo-hoo!